Welcome to this webinar, Get Started with Portfolio Manager. In this webinar, you'll learn what Portfolio Manager is and why you should use it. We'll cover Portfolio Manager basics, create a project, add work, and schedule that work, and we'll also build reports and customize our workspace in Portfolio Manager. A few housekeeping items. You can skip ahead to specific sections of this webinar that interest you. Please reach out to our support team if you have any questions. Learning resources will be provided at the end of this webinar to help you take your next steps with Portfolio Manager. So what is Portfolio Manager? It's the only project management solution with predictive scheduling. It's really great for non-technical users who need to manage projects in the portfolio and easily see progress of everything in the portfolio. The predictive scheduling engine saves organizations time and energy as it automatically generates realistic end dates for your projects. You also get workload predictions, automatic resource leveling and prioritization, and dynamic visualizations so your entire team knows who should be doing what and when it should be done. Portfolio Manager solves a lot of problems, so we've narrowed it down to 3 specific concerns that teams often have when they're trying to manage the portfolio. The first one is siloed teams. Portfolio Manager provides real-time visibility into all projects. You're able to see everything in one place and easily communicate across teams on the status of the portfolio. In portfolio management, it can also be hard to know which work to prioritize in order to meet deadlines. In Portfolio Manager, the predictive scheduling engine runs sophisticated Monte Carlo simulations across the entire portfolio to generate deadlines you can trust. And last, it often can be unclear how to manage and mitigate project risk across the portfolio. When you're working in Portfolio Manager, any tasks or projects that are at risk of missing their target finish date will automatically get a red has risk icon on them. This means you don't have to dig around the portfolio to figure out what work is putting our deadlines at risk. There are also really great insights in Portfolio Manager that help you understand why projects are at risk and how to mitigate them. Portfolio Manager supports a couple of different integrations. You can integrate it with Slack to communicate with your teams, and our newest integration is with Jira. You'll learn a little bit more about this in the webinar today, but you're able to pull Jira projects into Portfolio Manager. Let's head into Portfolio Manager to see in real time how it can help your organization. To start, we'll look at the left navigation panel as a jumping off point for all important areas in Portfolio Manager. Click the chevron icon to expand and collapse the panel. Starting at the top, we have iterations. This is where you can prioritize and schedule tasks for sprints and other time-based planning models. Portfolio Manager now integrates with Jira, so if you use Jira sprints, you can bring them in as iterations. Projects is where you'll spend most of your time in Portfolio Manager. Here, you can add new projects and tasks, then prioritize and manage them. The library holds workspace dashboards and reports that provide key insights into project progress throughout the portfolio. My Work is an area team members can go to manage their own workload, timesheet, profile, availability, and more. Discussions allow team members to follow and start discussions on tasks. Users can @mention other team members to directly notify them of updates. You can also start discussions directly on a task. Favorites allows team members to mark specific areas in Portfolio Manager as favorites, making them easily accessible and organized in one place, as you can see here. Anytime you see a star in the top left corner of an area in Portfolio Manager, you can favorite it. The last 2 areas all users can access are Help and Support and My Profile. Help and support is important to remember, and we'll come back to this at the end of the video as it gives you access to our Academy, our support team, and release notes. My Profile allows you to manage your personal account information and notification settings. Now that you know where everything is in Portfolio Manager, let's create and schedule a project. When you click Projects, you'll start in this portfolio view. You'll see here an overview of all projects and packages within the portfolio so your team can quickly see if everything is on track, then jump on anything that's at risk. You'll notice the projects that I've created sit in 3 different buckets, or what we call packages. By default, Portfolio Manager provides 3 different packages: high priority projects, medium priority projects, and low priority projects. The hierarchy within Portfolio Manager is packages, then projects live within those packages, tasks live within those projects, and assignments live on tasks. Ensuring your projects are in the correct packages is important, as order and priority helps the predictive scheduling engine in Portfolio Manager to accurately calculate project end dates. We'll talk more about the predictive scheduling engine in a bit. Looking at the different projects here, you can also see that anything that's at risk of missing its target finish date gets a warning icon. This makes it incredibly easy to take the correct next steps to ensure work gets delivered on time. All right, let's create a project. To create a project, you'll first find the package that you want to include it in. I'm going to create a low priority project, so I'll come down to this Add Project box here. Once you click into it, you'll see that there are several ways to set up projects and add work. You can add a blank project simply by clicking the Add button. By clicking Add Template, you can create a project from one of the many templates Portfolio Manager comes with. If you choose Add Sample Project, it will also create a blank project with tasks included. Last, if you do use Jira, you can add projects from Jira with this button here. If you do choose to add projects from Jira, you can bring in their issues and their fields into Portfolio Manager. Once you do create a project, you'll then add tasks. We're going to go ahead and add a blank project and import some tasks in via a file. We can bulk add tasks here to save the team some time. To do this, you'll click Tasks in the top right and click Import Tasks from Excel. To ensure the data import is as smooth as possible, at least when you're getting started, be sure to download the Excel template we provide and maintain its formatting. You can then add your tasks to that file and upload it directly to Portfolio Manager. You can add 100 tasks per import. I've got my file, so I'll click Upload File, select it, and you can see that it gives me a preview of the tasks that I'm bringing in. You can choose to either add the tasks to the bottom of the list or the top. The position does matter, as Portfolio Manager uses the order to help prioritize and schedule the right work. I'm going to do top. All right. Now we have several tasks in our implementation project. As you can see here, on some of these tasks, we have assignees and estimates. These 2 pieces of data are extremely important in Portfolio Manager, as they allow the predictive scheduling engine to run Monte Carlo simulations to accurately forecast task and project dates. Let's open up the Edit panel for a task and assign it and add estimates. To open the Edit panel, click on the task you'd like to update. By default, it takes you to the Assignments tab. This process development task is work Edna will be doing, so we'll assign it to her. As you can see, when we assign it, the schedule bars start to appear. We'll next go ahead and add ranged estimates. When you're adding ranged estimates, the low end is the shortest amount of time you think the planned item will take, and the high end is the longest amount of time you think the item will take. As a best practice, if it's a new item and you're not sure about the scope of the work, use a wider range of estimates. You can always come in later and adjust the estimates as you get a better idea of what to expect. We think that this piece of work will take Edna 20 to 40 hours. Once we enter those ranged estimates, we'll click Save and Close. As you can see, the schedule bar begins to fill out to help us get a better idea of when this task is expected to be done by. You can see too, once we hit close on the edit panel, that this task now gets an expected finish date. This is a result of the predictive scheduling engine taking the assignment and the ranged estimates and calculating this. As we continue to add this information to all of our items, the project itself will also get an expected finish date, which adjusts as dates and estimates are modified on each task. Each item also gets schedule bars, as you can see on the right side here. They show where remaining work lands in comparison to the expected start and finish dates. Clicking on the bars opens up the edit panel for the item, so you can take a closer look at the scheduling details. While we're back in the edit panel, let's walk through some other important task information you can update. On the scheduling tab, you can see everything you need to know about how the task is progressing. Insights can be used to see progress, risk, and workload information that helps you make decisions and keep work moving forward. You can also adjust the scheduled priority of the item. For example, if it is a task that needs to be done right away within the entire portfolio, you can prioritize it ASAP within the entire workspace. You can also add target dates here, which are also helpful for the predictive scheduling engine to forecast the correct project dates. You can see more details about the schedule bar here and add dependencies with these predecessors and successors. We're going to go into a bit more detail about the target dates later in this video. When you're in the edit panel, you'll notice there are other areas you can go to. The properties area displays custom data, work metrics, schedule dates, and reference information. Notes is a rich text editor for information, instructions, images, and links that you may have for the particular task. Files is where you can go to upload any files related to the task. You can drag and drop up to 10 files at once. Changes records task updates and deleted items. You see it's broken down by overall changes, changes by me, and deleted items. Last, as we saw earlier, you have discussions. This is where you can start a discussion directly on a task. Okay, now that we've created a project, added work, and learned how to power the predictive scheduling engine, let's take a look at some areas within the project and package that provide helpful insights about the work in the portfolio. We will focus on these at the project level, but keep in mind that packages and portfolios have a lot of these items as well. We're going to start in the Library tab up here. Here, you can add dashboards and reports to gain valuable insight into how everything is going in the project. We're going to create a dashboard. We'll click Add Dashboard right here, give it a name. You can choose an icon color for the dashboard and click Create. What's really nice is Portfolio Manager automatically provides extremely helpful reports on the dashboard, including the schedule summary, workload, and active tasks by expected finish. On this dashboard, all of these reports are called widgets. You can always adjust the dashboard with this Design button here. Once you click Design, it opens the dashboard in edit mode where you can add additional widgets and group any of your reports together. Another really nice thing about your dashboard is if you have external users that don't need access to Portfolio Manager, you can actually give guest access to those people so they can see the reports on the dashboard. You can also adjust specific settings and create filters for the dashboard. Next, we have the Workload tab. This allows you to see how work is distributed throughout the project. You can see the capacity of each team member and if any work needs to be reassigned. There are filters that can be used to adjust the range of time displayed, the types of tasks that are shown, and to see who's assigned to what. By default, it shows a 30-day window of tasks, but clicking into this drop-down here, you can adjust that time range. You can also filter by specific keywords here, and then changing the type of tasks can be done in this drop-down here. You can also adjust which assignees tasks show with this drop-down here. Next, we have the board view. Boards tell you what's in progress, where work has stalled, what's been done, and what's left to do by grouping each task by status. You can easily update the status of an item by dragging and dropping it into the column that has the correct status. You can also open up any task from here by clicking on the card. In the grid view, your tasks appear in a table with customizable columns. Downloading a grid creates an Excel file that mirrors your grid settings, columns, and filters. As a note, both your board and your grid view have filtering capabilities as well. If you want to adjust your columns in your grid view, click Columns, and you can click this arrow to add new fields as columns, and then this red arrow to remove any of them. In the Search tab, you can narrow the scope of the entire project to show items with specific keywords. The item name, username, description, notes, any text or select list fields, and the plan item ID are searched when looking for plan items here. Items matching the search term are listed in priority order. The search can return up to 500 results. You can also use these tabs to search files and dashboards and reports. The Changes tab records every update made to items. We looked at this earlier, but as a reminder, it's broken down by overall changes, changes that I've made as the logged in user, and deleted items. This area helps the team to understand who did what, when, and where within the project. All right, let's move back into our implementation project. You can either do that by following the breadcrumbs at the top of the page, or if you click Project, it'll take you back as well. We're going to go ahead and add start and end dates to a few items and reprioritize them. As we discussed earlier, adding ranged estimates and assignments to your tasks really helps the predictive scheduling engine to forecast accurate project dates. However, manually adding target dates to your items helps you get even more out of the predictive scheduling engine. While the expected start and finish dates are calculated and fluidly adapt to change, target dates are added manually and are fixed. Target start is the date you would like to begin. Target finish is the deadline date in Portfolio Manager. Work can keep scheduling past this date or stop scheduling. I'm going to actually make the target start and end dates a little bit earlier. And you'll notice that if the expected finish is after the target finish, the scheduling bar turns red and alerts identify work that has schedule risk, as you can see. You'll notice too that the task has a little risk icon next to it. This makes it easy for the team to decide on what adjustments to make in order to ensure the schedule stays on track. This could mean that you need to reprioritize the work. It could mean that the work needs to be reassigned to someone who has more capacity. You also can, if need be, schedule an item ASAP so it can take precedence in the project. To do that, you just click on the item, and you can either go to the Scheduling tab, as we looked at earlier, and use this drop-down here, or you can click ASAP in the top of the Edit panel and select an option from here. You'll see once you do that, it adds a little lozenge to the task, so it's very easy for the team to understand which work to prioritize. As you can see as well, as I continue to update tasks, by adding assignments, and adding ranged estimates, you'll see that the scheduling bars begin to populate and the predictive scheduling engine has more and more data to go off of. A couple of other things to note that you can do to reprioritize work in your project is you can drag and drop your tasks to reorder them and reprioritize them. One final thing to note here is we did bring the tasks into this project in via a file, but if you want to add tasks manually and individually, you can either click Add Tasks up here, or you can go down here and add tasks. I'm also going to go ahead and favorite this project with the star. All right, let's go back to the portfolio view. You can now see our implementation project lives within the low priority projects package, and you can expand the rest of the packages to see what other projects are in flight. You'll notice that the Scrum project has risk because its target finish date is before its expected finish. Whenever you see the has risk icon, Portfolio Manager is going to give you really good insights about how to mitigate that risk on a project. For example, if I click on my Scrum project and open up a task and go to the Scheduling tab, you can see that the insights tells me why it's at risk. It then tells us how we can mitigate that. Right now, scheduling it in order is causing the task to take longer, so maybe we need to change to schedule priority within the project, ASAP. A couple of other things to note when you're in the portfolio view. If you'd like to delete a project, simply click the set of 3 dots to the right of its name, and you can delete it here. You can also create a template out of your project, duplicate it, move it, and edit it. If you want to add a new package, you can click Packages right here and create a new one that aligns with the priorities of your organization. You can also see from the portfolio view how everything is going across the entire workspace. So you can see the expected finish dates of all of your projects, as well as the scheduling bars. And you can also see how much work in total is expected to be done within these projects. If you'd like to filter any projects as well, you can click this projects filter and filter the portfolio to show, for example, only projects at risk. You can also filter with this search bar here. The final thing we're going to take a closer look at is getting help and support within Portfolio Manager. If you look in the bottom left corner, we looked at this a little bit earlier, but there's a button that says Help and Support. If you click it, what's really nice is Portfolio Manager will suggest lessons from the Academy that relate to what you've been doing in Portfolio Manager. For example, I've been scheduling a lot of my tasks, and so Portfolio Manager recommends that I learn about schedule bars. If you don't want to do any of the suggested lessons, you can go directly to the Academy here. There are a ton of different resources in here, including videos and articles for all kinds of users. We recommend checking out the Getting Started lessons once you finish watching this video, as these will elaborate a lot further on the topics we learned about today. If you want to submit a ticket to our support team, you can also click Help and Support and click Support and Feedback. This takes you to the Tempo Help Center, where you can also access the Portfolio Manager documentation. Last, if you are curious about what's being released in Portfolio Manager, you can always take a look at our release notes from here. One final thing to note within Portfolio Manager is if you click on your profile and go to My Profile, you're able to see a lot more information about you as a team member in Portfolio Manager. For example, when you're here, you can set your availability. So if you're going to be taking personal time off, you can log that here, and Portfolio Manager will use that when it comes to scheduling your time. If you are an administrator in Portfolio Manager, you can also add in everyone time off and adjust working times. You also have your timesheet here. This is where you can go in to see your upcoming and recent tasks and log time to them. When you're looking here as well, you can see how much work is remaining on the tasks that you have and your week totals. If you'd like, you can also filter the work by the package, the project, or by the task status. You can adjust the time frame up here as well. If you'd like to learn more, here are some helpful links so you can take next steps on your portfolio manager learning journey. Thanks for watching.